Hello everyone, back again with another teardown video. This one's going to be a bit shorter than the usual ones because I'm not actually going to be testing the Vimix system out in this video. I'll be doing a separate video of that because it's battery driven. I can use an AC adapter, but the control pads are battery driven as well because it is an infrared system. So what we're just going to do in this video is do a teardown and just have a look at the actual board. Now I do have another one here. I can just zoom, oh, wrong way, zoom out a little. I have another one here, sorry, if I can get it the right way around. I have another one here which is boxed. As you can see, there's quite a lot of yellowing to the box, and it comes with a N64 style control pad or shape. Doesn't have the analog, that's just a, well, if you can see, it's actually just empty, but there is an LED in there, and then the battery compartment's there, and then we have some quite weighty ping pong bats with an infrared receiver on there. There's just two of those. It is missing the, I believe that would have been the power supply, or it might have actually been the TV lead. So I don't actually think this came with a power supply. But then we get a Pong game, ping pong, which is a 17-in-1. Now the difference between this is the fact that it is an upgraded Famiclone. It's not like the standard Famiclones. This has got an upgraded graphics chips in it, so they can display, let's see if this is a 16 or a 32-bit. It's a 16-bit graphic Famiclone. So it still runs off the same 8-bit technology, but they've added a chip in to give better graphical capability, which means that the cartridge will only work in these style consoles. And as you'll notice, I don't know if you did just notice that, these are actually two different versions, and this one looks like it comes with a controller port on as well, which is quite strange. So there must be two separate revisions, so we will take these apart. To be honest, this one feels, I wonder if there might be batteries in this. Yes, they need to come out to stop any leaking. Yeah, it doesn't feel very weighty now. So yeah, these might be different model boards on the inside. This one still feels heavier than this one. So I'm wondering if this one has got a different board inside. So when we come to test that one out properly, we'll take it apart as well. But for now we're going to take apart this one. And I've already undone the screws. And there we have the inside. I'll zoom in a bit. There we go, you can get a better look now. Now you'll see a few differences between this one and standard Famiclones, because the millennial ones, they just come usually as in a one board, but obviously this has got infrared control system built in, and the power switch is here as well, and the reset button is plonked into it as well. But this is basically the controller board, and the pins come straight off the standard actual Famiclone board, like they would on some of the other two board sets where the controller system is separate. You see that on like the Gun Boy would be a bad example, because Gun Boy actually glues the controller system directly onto the board, so you don't actually see the pins. But it would be the Ultra 8 which I believe I did a teardown of first. That would use the same sort of ribbon system, and everything's nicely labelled out there, so you can actually, it would be really simple to add a controller port into that. Now one thing, well, first we move on, this is the power board, and then it just links straight off into the battery compartment here, and yeah, standard power supply there. And then on the side here, we're literally, these are just LED bulbs. They don't do anything fancy other than flash prettily. You've got your standard 60-pin Famicom cartridge slot here, which obviously with an adapter you can also play NES games. One thing which is very interesting about this board, if I can zoom in a bit more, is if we see here, this is actually where flash memory would go. So I'm assuming this one doesn't have any games built in at all. This one did come with 16 games in one, as opposed to the Ping Pong and a Drum Master games. It's still a 16-bit graphical interface. But to be honest, I can't see any differences on the board here. There might be something on underneath, but I'm assuming it's going to be not a chip, and it's going to be epoxy glob top plastered on there. But the extra graphical chip might actually be in the cartridge. But as I was saying, this is where flash memory could go. So if you can get yourself a I believe it's 44 pin, yeah, 44, yeah, 44 pin flash chip, you would be able to create your own menu system and built-in games with this. It wouldn't be as easy as just plonking ROMs onto the system, but I would say there is already something built into the main chip which would automatically read what's on there. So if you know how to build a file menu system for this, it would be quite simple. Something that I might actually look into doing, because that would be quite funky. And what we can actually do from this is we can see if there's a way to actually work all the pinouts and work out how it bypasses the cartridge to the flash ROM, and then we might be able to work out how to add a cartridge slot into the NES mini clone, which was the 4K resolution clone that I reviewed quite a while ago now, a couple of months ago. And the idea of that was to put a cartridge slot in it and have a full 4K cartridge slot based NES clone or Famiclone. But so far I haven't been able to do it. But with this it might be a bit easier, because I've got the pins open there, and hopefully I can try them back and figure out how we can add a cartridge slot into it. But yeah, I'm gonna unscrew this and see if there's a chip. I'll zoom back out. I'm gonna unscrew this and see if there's a chip in the bottom, or see if it's glob top, because I'm assuming it's going to be glob top, but this board does look quite nice, so it might actually be a chip, but I doubt it. But we will soon find out. Right, here we go. And yes, unfortunately, just a glob top, so we're not going to be able to, mind you, this seems to be quite easily to read from the actual lines, so I might be able to work that out quite easy. There's quite a lot of nasty glue around it all, if you can see. Dried glue which has gone really flaky. It doesn't really cause a problem, but it doesn't look great. That might actually, oh, there's some crystallization there actually. If you can, oh sorry, around about here. Something's been spilled in it by the looks of. Doesn't really seem to have damaged the board. And it does power up. So I don't think it's caused a problem, but that will have to be cleaned. But for now, we're okay. Ah, there we go. There seems to be some pins out for what will probably be controller port 2. Or we can hijack other things off there. Yeah, this is quite, considering the controls don't work that great because it's all based off infrared. The design and structure of this is done quite nicely, to be honest. Maybe this updated version was basically because people were complaining over the infrared, because that would explain why there's a controller port added into it. So we'll get it screwed back up. And then what I want to do is test some of these lines and see if we can figure out, because I'm doing another little project at the moment where I am building a NES to SNES game converter, so you'll be able to play your NES games on your SNES console. So what I'm trying to do at the moment is figure out how I can hijack the SNES controller ports in order to make that work with the NES to SNES adapter, which is pretty much the only thing that I can't figure out at the moment. But with some testing in a moment, I'm hoping to get it sorted, and then we'll be able to do that. So I've got all that screwed back up now. There's not really else a lot I can say, really. So yeah, we'll just I'll get out my multimeter and we'll do a bit of testing. Right guys, what I've done is I took it back apart because I screwed it up and then realised, damn, I need to get to the other side to get to all the other pinouts that aren't accessible from this side. So what I'm going to do now is I've got my multimeter, and what I'm going to attempt to do is go through every pin and try and figure out where it comes out on this flash chip board, and then from there we can work all that, and then we can go back to another Famiclone with a flash chip in, and we can, and no card slot, and we can reverse engineer it and add a card slot in, hopefully, because there's an extra 20 pins we need to figure out. But a lot of the time certain middle pins weren't used, so that could be where it's coming from. I've got my multimeter and I've got it set to the continuity test, which basically just means I'll plonk it one place and I'll move around and it'll beep when it's in the right place, when I'm on the right line. So I'll put the ground. I've already worked one out, which was pin 13, comes down here. There we go, pin 13. As you can hear, there's a beep. So I've found where it leads into the board, but I haven't yet worked out where it comes off onto the pins here. So I'm just working that out now. But obviously, because this is going to take such a long time, I mean, it's literally took me about half an hour to figure out that one before I started the video again. So I'm going to have to go through them all now and figure them out. But what I'll do is I'll mark them all down, and then once it's done and I've figured it all out properly, I'll get a data sheet or something drawn up, and then I'll get that added into the description down below. But for now, just have solace in the fact that I am working this out and we will be able to get this sorted. There are no problems, only solutions. So for now, I don't really think there's a lot else I can say, because this is going to take such a long time and if I was doing a live stream I'd just continue and then people could come and go, but obviously as it's a video I'm not going to keep recording for probably 4 or 5 hours while I work this out. So I'll update with the part 2 and we'll see where we've got. So thanks for watching this part, and please leave a comment down below if you've got any advice or help, or just if you've done this before, because I'm not sure if anyone else has done it, but I can't find anything. So yeah, I'll get a part 2 done soon, a follow-up, letting you know where we've got to, and then we'll go from there. So thanks for watching, and please stay tuned. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and get ready for part 2. Thank you.